go. Anytime you're ready.
I'll start it, I guess.
Sweet.
At some point or multiple points in the course, you are going to feel overwhelmed, and that's normal and it's okay and it happens. Depending on the person or the project, it might happen more often than others, but the important part is to keep the end goal in mind and just make sure you're working towards it. Build some kind of progress, even if it's just a little bit at a time, because when you look at it at the end and you see whatever you've constructed all together as one piece, it's going to feel worth it, but you need to make sure that you're pushing forward and really just doing what you can, and then come back to the harder stuff when you've had some time to collect your thoughts.
Great.
I'll add to that. I would say first, use your time wisely. Plan your project ahead of time. Plan out the structure before you start coding, because once you dig into coding, you might get lost along the way, and then you've wasted a lot of time. And code every day, because you will learn that what you learned yesterday will escape you in the next project. You forget quickly.
No.
All right, I'll go. So one thing that really helped me be more successful was eliminating distractions and making sure that you're in a space where you're prepared to learn, and that you're not going to understand everything right off the bat. There are going to be times where you feel completely lost and you don't know what's going on. But when it comes down to practicing and doing projects on your own, that's where you're really going to hammer some of those concrete items into your head. And that's where the real learning occurs. So don't think that if you're falling behind on a code along that you'll never get it. You're going to really do all of the learning on your own. And you've got to want to do it. You've got to want to go out and learn some things on your own, because it's just not possible for instructors to teach you everything. You got to figure some stuff out on your own, and that's normal.
Sweet.
I'll go. Don't give up. You have an instructor team here for you. Take all the office hours you can, even if you're just sitting in there. Somebody else might be asking the question that you're going to ask. If they're going to, just if you could hear that question, you're too afraid to ask, just go to all the office hours you can manage. I would say is probably the one thing I'd pass on to you. And then don't give up.
Look, I feel like they're clapping at your advice. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's great advice.
Yeah, I'll go. My advice would be to just know that it's okay to not know, because you're never going to know everything, and that's all just part of the process. That feeling of not knowing or feeling lost or like you're in the dark, that's just part of the process, and you just have to push through that as many times as that takes. Just keep moving forward, and eventually you'll start to understand things, and there will be more light for the path that you're going down, and things will slowly start to come together. So just keep pushing forward and understand.
You're a little choppy, Quincy. I know you're remote. You're in New Orleans.
I'll piggyback on that.
Yeah, it's the hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tiffany.
My bad. um, I came in thinking that I knew enough to feel comfortable, but I only learned that I didn't know anything. Um, what held me from, quitting, 6 months goes by pretty quick, but it was the longest 6 months of my life. But you learn so much. You will grow so much. So don't give up no matter what comes. You just got to push through it like everyone else said. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
If not, you can build the app that provides the light.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off what Tiffany just said. For 6 months, I mean, it's when you start, it kind of seems far, kind of seems like, when will I be able to achieve this? And, well, it goes by really fast, like she had mentioned just now. And obviously, you guys are doing flex and you might be working and stuff, but if you can just plan your schedule accordingly, plan how you want to, get through this class, and also use the resources available to you. Your TAs are definitely helpful. I know sometimes, going to that office hours at that time of the day after work or whatever kind of seems like stressful, but it definitely helps you improve on yourself, and it just gives you another peer check, which would definitely help you in improving your code. And another thing you can do, obviously, is take advantage of your classmates and just keep asking questions. Somebody might know, or somebody might face that same challenge that you're facing at that point, and they might have figured it out. So they can help or point you to the right direction. So that's the one advice I'll give anybody taking the class.
Sweet. Thank you.
I can piggyback off of some of that. One thing that I definitely had some persistent complications was my own frustration. There would be times where I doubled down and was just like, you know what, F it, I'm not opening up this computer. Like, forget it. I'm not going to go any further. I don't want to look at another code. I don't even want to hear someone say variable. I don't want to hear any of those words, you know. But putting your frustration aside and actually just, saying, taking a couple, like 4 deep breaths and saying, you know what, all right, let me push through. Honestly, that was probably like the hardest part, because your attention span towards this, it'll always dwindle. I mean, that's normal, I guess. But just knowing that you might get frustrated, get upset, and want to, pick apart your keyboard, let it go, take a 5-minute break, come back to it, because then with a fresh pair of eyes, you notice something that you didn't notice if you were actually just still staring. So taking your adequate break, relax, and just keep moving, I guess.
Sweet. Thanks, Ryan. Who else wants to leave some advice?
I have some advice. If you're going to code, use a Mac.
Oh, yeah, that's like the gem.
I was the one guy with the PC Windows, and it was awful. And working with the Mac was much easier. And luckily, I picked up the Mac 2 weeks before the course was done. That would be that's my main advice.
Yeah, I can pretty much attest to that point too. So.
I guess I can go. And so I would say that making sure you ask questions regularly, like everyone said. I remember in the beginning I would get lost with the coding like right away, and then they would just keep on going. You gotta speak up like right away if you're starting to fall behind. If you're trying to do it by yourself and you're not getting anywhere, just do it right away. Just don't wait too long. They're going to be on the next part and you'll be behind. Just it happened to me like all the time. Just it's normal. Just ask all the questions that you need. They're there to help you. They're really good, and they're definitely, it's a normal thing. And a lot of people, there's going to be other people that will be scared to ask the question. So there's other people in the class that's going to be stuck as well. So it's not embarrassing. It's normal. Everyone's learning something completely new. So just ask those questions.
Sweet, Travis.
I'll go. Let's see. Okay, I'll go. Sorry. I didn't know if I was started.
You'll
yet.
go again.
I'll go again. My advice would be first to just remain calm when things go wrong, because they probably will at some point. And to resist the urge to compare yourself with other classmates. There's a range of abilities of students in this course, and for myself, I'm a complete, or was a complete beginner. So just resisting the urge to compare was really helpful for me. And I would say to also communicate your needs to GA staff, because they're really responsive. You'd be surprised at what can work out if you're having issues, if you're having difficulties. They're very responsive. So I would say those three things: just remaining calm, resisting the urge to compare yourself with other students, and communication will definitely get you through the course. So good luck.
I like that added touch, Sherry, and good luck. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. You got the perseverance and if you develop that personality to do it, then you don't really need the luck, right? You create your own luck. You'll do it because you want to get it done. That's why everyone's here. You're here because you wanted to get it done. I've taught a lot of classes, and I've seen people leave after the first week, seen people leave after, the first project. So, and those people just couldn't do it at that time for whatever. You don't put anyone down because they couldn't do it. They just weren't ready for it. They were like, what is this? This is crazy. I signed up for this, not realizing what it takes, and not realizing that once you get past that fear, once you just dive in and you start doing it, you realize it wasn't as scary. You just needed to stick with it. It's like getting thrown in the deep end and you're swimming. You're like, I'm never jumping in the back of that water. That was so scary. I'm never going to do it. But if you jump back in a couple more times, it's not as scary anymore. And you feel like, oh, I could do this. So awesome. That's great advice. Last minute advice. You can say something again if you want. Anything with working full-time jobs, having families and a life. Any advice you would give to people in regards to that side of this program?
Sure, I can give a brief thing. Just say goodbye to everything but what's absolutely necessary and important in your life. And hopefully you'll realize who kind of your friends and stuff are at the end of that, because they'll still be there at the end of the 6 months.
I won't scare them too much, Paul.
I have a 6-year-old, and I think all of my classmates have met my 6-year-old son, who likes to come on camera sometimes. But, I've had to miss a lot of his events. But I did manage to, avoid class a few times to be able to make some of his needed events that I had to go to. But you will lose out a lot of time, but at the end of the 6 months, you gain it all back, if not more.
True. I think there were a couple of times maybe you were taking the class from your car, like when you took your kid to his game or something, and you're in the car with your laptop, not feeling great because you're sick, and you're there doing it because you knew it was important to jump in, at least participate.
He had a swim meet, and that was his very first swim meet. I had to do what I had to do. But you make it work.
Yeah.
So I have something. Yeah, I mean, having a plan is very, very important. Making sure your friends and family are aware of the substantial time commitment that you're about to take before you get started is important. But the other thing is you need to make sure that going to class is only part of it, right? So your class time is only part of it. It's also, you're going to have to set some time on your own to complete, homework assignments and work on projects. And you need to have time already scheduled on your calendar with that in mind. And so that also needs to be something that you need to communicate with your friends and family and some other people that, might want to also spend time with you or use some of your brain capacity. It's got to go to this. You have to prioritize class. It's just 6 months. And those 6 months are going to set you up for the rest of your life. So just put the time in and effort now so that you can have a good time later.
Sweet.
Yeah, I had 3 weddings that I was a part of during this, and it's done just having those 3 weddings. Just that I haven't really hung out with any of my friends or anything that stunted some of my learning, but but even though I still was able to push through and get it, so just like a few days that I had to maybe miss, it made it real tough. So just go to class all the time as much as you can. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do this course until like probably a year and a half because of all the weddings that's going on recently with my friends. So I just decided to just do it anyways and suffer through it, but it was worth it. And just prioritize your time correctly and even make a little bit extra because maybe a lot of trial and failure when you're doing coding. So make sure you have time to fix those and plan accordingly with that as well.
Sweet. Any last minute advice? That was good stuff, though.
I've got one thing.
Sure.
You can never have too many monitors. It's really helped to have 3 monitors. I know that one of the requirements was to have just 1 additional monitor, but when you're in class, you're going to have Zoom up and you're going to have Slack up and you're going to have your code up and you're going to have all these things. So if you can get your hands on an extra monitor, I got an old crappy one they were going to throw out at work. And I flipped it sideways and it's really been a lot of help having extra monitors.
Yeah, I agree. 2 monitors is not enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't have 3, but 2 is still not enough for me. I want more.
Actually, to go further with that, and I'm not recommending it for everyone as of yet, but you guys heard about Catalina? You can expand your screens with like iPads and other like devices. So with Apple products. So, but the thing is, Catalina is like destroying people's computers. So not yet, but if you don't have the money, just saying, you can expand your. You have the devices, but not the money. You can actually do it. So just,
The only thing with Catalina though is you have to have a Mac 2016 and up. Anything older than that, it does not work.
Also, if you like working with MongoDB, don't install Catalina. You have to like reinstall the whole thing. It's not fun.
Never mind. XNA on Catalina.
Good advice, Rod. We need good advice. I'm going to have to do some editing, some YouTube editing. Sweet. All right. Once. Twice.